start recording. Jai Mohanji, and welcome to Chai with Lakshmi. Today, I have the most amazing panel. We had the most amazing pre-interview chat, but let's introduce the guests. We have Michael, Bharati, and Kalpana, and I'm going to ask each one of them to introduce themselves, tell us where they're from, a little about them, and how they met Mohanji or how he has inspired their lives. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much. So hello, everyone. My name is Michael Draper. I'm based in the UK, in South Wales. What do I do? I'm a law professor by background, so I teach a lot of students, both at home and internationally, and I really enjoy that. How did I meet Mohanji? Well, it was 2 years ago, and that was at the Scandervale Ashram in South Wales, when Mohanji came over with Maharaj Slaki Maharaj to undertake the Prana Pratishtha of the new Shirdi Sai Baba temple. And I didn't meet Mohanji directly. It was through an intermediary. That intermediary was Bola, also known as Dirk from the Netherlands. So I'm eternally grateful to Dirk for doing that. And I have to say it's because Bola and I got chatting about Sati Sai Baba. We've both been to the ashram in Puttapati and spent time with Sati Sai Baba there. And that was, so you could say Sati Sai Baba brought us together through Bola. There you go.
Wow, that's so amazing. And Mohanji is incredible how he brings people together and how he actually brought us today together. And now I'd like to welcome Kalpana to tell us more about herself.
Thank you, Lakshmi. And good to meet you, Michael and Bharati. Yes, I'm Kalpana, and I'm from Houston, Texas. Excuse me. And I am a yoga therapist. I've been in this journey of yoga for many years. And how I met Mohanji is, I think I was seeking. I wanted to get initiated, Kriya initiation. And I don't want to get into the whole, because otherwise I'll take up everybody else's time. And somehow things were not working out for me. Sorry. And I think that seeking and the desire to get initiated became kind of intense. And through somebody, I heard about Mohanji. And those days, this was in 2019 when I met Mohanji first. I used to go to India to take care of my parents. God bless them, they're both gone. And out of nowhere, literally, I get an invite from the Mohanji Foundation that there is going to be Kriya initiation in Udupi in Karnataka. So I landed up there, and there I was at Mohanji's feet. And I remember asking him. So Mohanji was like, yes, so what do you want? I'm like, I don't know, you tell me. I don't know what I'm doing here. I live in Texas, I'm here in Delhi. I come to Delhi, and now I'm here. So I said, I think there is a connection, but you are the one who can explain that. And then he just broke into the smile and he said, yes, we are connected. So that was how I met Mohanji, to put it very shortly. Thank you.
Oh, that is so amazing. And it just shows how everyone is connected by the thread of love called Mohanji. And now I'd like to hear from Bharati and how she met Mohanji and a little bit about herself.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Bharati, and I'm from the Netherlands. We have an amazing team at the moment. I met, yes, yes, Michael. I met Mohanji in 2021. Our guru was Swami Gopal Baba from India, from Bangalore. And one of the devotees, after his samadhi, invited Mohanji to the Netherlands. It was Sita. Maybe many of you know them. And she asked me to help her because this Mohanji, this Swami, I didn't know anything about it, was coming to the Netherlands. And of course, you like to help a friend. And I always say everything is one big pot of God. So if some holy person comes to the Netherlands, and we can bathe in that energy, that was my intention. That's good. I help you. So I helped her to decorate the church where she invited Mohanji in Alkmaar, a bit north of Amsterdam. And then I was really impressed, but a little bit like, who is this guy with jeans and, hoodie? And so a little bit I kept back. But very quickly, I completely, I felt all my cells and all my energy bodies, I felt opening up, and I couldn't just help it. So next day, I intended to go to the temple, GKS temple, where Mohanji was invited for another program. And I was sitting in the car talking to him. I said, now, Mohanji, I like you very much, but I'm not going to do something for your organization because I'm already involved with GKS. Before that, Satya Sai Baba is still there. And before that, I was involved in the Satya Sai Baba organization. So this will be too much. Another organization, no, it's too much for me. So I was driving and then I heard his voice very loud in my head. You call me Bhaiya, right? Because I thought he was my Guru Bhai because he met Swami Gopal Baba. So I thought he was the devotee of Swami Gopal Baba. So he said, you call me Bhaiya, right? And I said, yes. He said, if your brother asks you to do something for him, would you refuse me? Smiling out loud in the car. I said, he was so clever because I would never refuse you, of course. And then sitting there in that satsang, I asked him about this. I said, Swami Gopal Baba was there, Satya Sai Baba was there. Now another form of divinity is sitting there right in front of us. How do we relate to you? That's another form of divinity. So he explained, your guru never died. And, it's just one energy is sitting right in front of you. And it's one energy, it's one family. He said, literally, it's one family. If one person of the family asks you to do something for him, would you refuse? Would you say, no, I've already done this morning something for my mother, so now I'm going to refuse to do something for my brother? He said like that. And I was flabbergasted. I was like, how is this possible? And I told him, you said the same thing in the car inside. And this way it evolved. He started talking inside and guiding me from inside, guiding me to stillness, and I can talk long. I will not tell you and tell only my stories. So thank you.
That is so amazing because it shows how that connectedness of Mohanji, and he forms that relationship. And to tell you, I actually was not somebody who, was into gurus and organizations and things like that either. So a lot of organizations actually in like throughout life, we met people, and so many places will be like, come join us, be part of us. And I always used to respect the gurus, of that place, and visit the temples, but I never really got too into it. It was that love that I have inside for the deities and the gurus, but I never like put myself into any frames. And when I met Mohanji, or actually before I met Mohanji, I was introduced to power of purity. And then I started hearing this man, gruff voice, speaking to me through this power of purity, and I could hear his voice in my head, and he was literally speaking to me. And then the person who sent me the meditation, and I wasn't a person who would meditate either, My sister is more of the meditation type of person. And then she was worried about me because firstly, I'm meditating, and secondly, I started connecting to this guru, and this guru in this genes, and then I felt in my heart that there's this connection, and I love this person. And then my sister was very worried about me because she said, we've met so many different spiritual masters, like, in passing, but you never had this kind of experience. And what is happening to you? And I said, look, I don't know, but there's a connection within and there's this love. And I felt that Mohanji, in the genes, in the like a person, he understood me, he felt me. So I was very touched by that. And then that journey continued to grow from 2015, 2016. So I'm grateful today we are here together sharing these precious moments that we have with such a wonderful, amazing spiritual master. Now, I am aware that the three of you have been joining a very exciting program called the Weekly Talks with Mohanji, which I feel is such a rare opportunity to be in the presence of a master and experience that grace. But I want to hear your experience more about how this weekly talks with Mohanji has impacted your lives. So, Michael, I want to invite you first. So my question to you is, I'm going to ask you two questions and then you can answer that. You say Mohanji is Vishwa Mitra, friend of the world, but you also said that he is Michael Mitra. So first, I want you to elaborate on that, and you can show us your support teddy bear if you want to, if you need support, and. And the second question I want to ask you is, based on being a university professor, so I'm also a lecturer at the university, so I deal with the students and things. I want to know from your perspective, how does the Mohanji talks relate to you in terms of being a lecturer, being at the professor at the university, and how can this impact students if they join the weekly talks? So these are the two questions I'd like to hear from you, Michael.
I'm now unmuted, so I can now answer you. Yeah, I mean, I've been joining the talks ever since they began, and whenever there's an opportunity to either engage with Mohanji online or in person, I really want to take that opportunity because we don't know when we're going to get the chance again. We always think we have all the time in the world. Oh, we can do it next time or another. We just don't know that. So I always take the opportunity when I can. What I found, I think others find with Mohanji, is that our relationship with him is very personal. Even though we're hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, we always have that personal relationship. And so when you said Vishwamitra, Jagat Mitra, Michael Mitra, I mean, I relate to Mohanji as a friend. And probably for me, it's that closeness of that relationship that enables me, I think, to stay connected with Mohanji, because I don't want a division of a sort of disciple guru where you put somebody on a pedestal and you remain separate. And for me, it's important you don't remain or retain that separateness, that you realize that ultimately you are that, as you said before, that one energy, that unity consciousness. And that helps me to do that. And I think with the talks, the weekly talks, they've been hugely beneficial. One, because we've learned a new technique, splitting the mind, which I've been practicing, and I found accelerates basically the transformation within, that connection with yourself. I thought, to be honest, after 30 odd years of spiritual practice, that I was pretty much clean inside. But boy, it's amazing how much stuff still comes out when you do these things and you're in Mohanji's presence. And I know that he's been working on a number of issues. Whenever I've met him physically, he's been poking me in my stomach, because that's where you hold all these emotional issues, which, of course, we learned as part of the weekly satsang series. He makes that clear. And as part of that practice, that technique that he gave, one stage he takes us down into the solar plexus, where we hold those emotional patterns to look at it, make sure you're separating that off from the energy, to see that they are very clearly not what you are. They're being energized because they're patterns, and sometimes you let that go. So those sessions have been really useful. One, to obviously experience that, hear what other people have got to say. It's so often, isn't it, that we know that Mohanji will start talking, answering people's questions before you've actually asked them. And I think in the Empowered series, he actually said this in one video that he often comes into a room and, I think he's keen to actually meditate in silence with us. And we'd all love that, wouldn't we? But then he says he hits this wall of energy, all these questions coming at him that he senses. And he wants to answer them to make sure that we're all satisfied, because then our minds become quieter, we become still, we align. Because those doubts and issues that we have are clarified by Mohanji. How does it help students? Well, I would hope that from my example, I help my students. And I often introduce in lectures, the spiritual concepts I've learned. I introduce them in a way that is so in a way that they can understand. I do have students from India, quite interestingly enough. One student came into my office, and I got pictures all over my office. I got Mohanji in there, I got Sachi Sai Baba in there, all over my office. He walked in, and he said, "Oh my goodness!" And he was on straight on the phone to his mum, who's based in Calcutta, and he was there with his mum, showing my office and all the pictures I have around the office. And when he came back a few weeks later, he'd been back home. His mother had given him a statue of Shirdi Sai Baba to give to me from his mother, which I thought was wonderful. So we don't know how these connections actually happen with our students, when they might happen. But I always try and introduce the students what I've learned into my interaction with students, and then very importantly, how you are. Your example is the most important thing that you can give to students, how you actually live your life. There you go.
100%. I totally agree with that. Being in the same profession, it's like leading by example, and students relate to that. And when we are peaceful and calm within, we can express that to the people around us and share that love and that energy of Mohanji. So it's incredible.
I have a favorite line from Kung Fu Panda I often use in my lectures, which is, the past is history, the future is a mystery, but the now is the present, which is why the now is a gift, which is why we call it a present.
Which is called the present. That's
exactly.
Actually one of my favorite too.
There you go.
So that's really cool. And
Kung Fu Panda is also a bear.
Yeah. We'll come back to you, Michael. I just want to hear from Bharati. I want to know how Mohanji's sessions, weekly talks, have helped you with moving from confusions and emotions to clarity. If you can touch on a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, when I listen to Mohanji on the weekly talks, then automatically there comes in my mind, oh, what kind of questions should I ask? What kind of questions should I ask? I have to ask a question, And then it appeared that, well, I must go back a little bit. When I was with Swami Gopal Baba, I used to ask many questions. And even if he was still answering one, I was already thinking of the next. One day he just walked away while we were in an interview, and I was thinking, oh my God, I did something wrong. And then later he said, make your questions less and less until you merge with the Lord. So I had listened to it, but not quite good enough. So when Mohanji came in my life, I started bombarding him with questions, as people know who have seen me on Zoom. Just because I wanted to have this contact, but just because I wanted to look in his eyes, knowing that he was talking to me. So it was more like I'm in a bubble with you than that I, really needed to hear the answers or something. And then last time I had this really, really heavy question, about a friend of mine who was, opting for to euthanize himself. And I heard in Scotland a little bit about Mohanji's opinion about that. And then I came in my a question what comes in my life often: where do you step in, where do you hold back? Where is it interfering with somebody else's business? Where is it, the duty of a friend or a mother or, to say something, to speak up? And then I decided to ask him, do you like Mohanji's opinion about this? Because he's also he was also a very spiritual guy. And he said yes. So I wanted to ask this question, but I didn't get a chance because in that period, in that episode, they wanted new people to ask questions. So my mind started talking everything suddenly all at once. I was not good enough, my mind said, and so many things. People would think I'm a nuisance and, all this mind stuff. And I recognized it. I said, oh my God, this is really wonderful. How your mind can bring you down in a second. And then I was thinking, no, I have to ask Mohanji because this is really important. So I sent him a message later and he didn't answer. So then I took the conclusion, maybe he will give an answer in a different way in the next talk. I must really listen carefully because he might address me, and then when Mohanji is speaking to you, although he's answering another question, you kind of know, you get this feeling and he's talking to me. So in the next session, indeed, he explained something about what was the name Deepaka and his guru. And maybe you heard this story in the weekly talk. And it was a clear answer to my question, something what I could explain to this friend of mine. And but still I had to know it personally from Mohanji because I knew this friend was not going to let me get away with an answer which was general. And I was right. So I had to ask Mohanji personally. And I asked Mohanji, I said, is this on WhatsApp? I said, is this your answer to my question? You didn't answer me directly. Normally you answer very quickly. And now I heard this story. Is this your answer? He said only yes. So then I went back to this friend and I said, this is Mohanji's answer. And he was not, impressed. He said, okay, so what? So I don't know if you want to know the details because then it can get too long. But Mohanji has a clear view on euthanization. And so then I went back to this friend and he opted for euthanizing anyway. So I felt like a little bit of failing, but at the same time, Mohanji said inside, he said, it is what it is. So Mohanji would never, ever, advise somebody on do this or don't do it. We have our free will. So that feeling like it is what it is, that kind of took to the responsibility of my shoulders, which I thought they were there, because they're not. But maybe you recognize this, that you think you have a responsibility and you need an answer for somebody. You're really, like urgent. And so then he opted for it anyway. So then I said, now what can I do for him? Then again, I said to Mohanji, he's opting for it anyway. And maybe if he has enough good karma, can you please bless him that he's going straight to the light, whatever his choices are. And then Mohanji sent blessings. So it was an interaction between personal talk and weekly talk, which for me was very important.
So, Michael, we know now who is the one asking Mohanji all the questions.
The last two times I didn't ask any questions. I say, okay.
So, it's interesting that you spoke about this because it just shows how our mind is ready to reach some conclusions, and we are thinking all the time, if something goes our way, we are happy, our mind is happy. And if something we feel does not go our way, or somebody didn't look at us or smile at us or answer us, we think like, did I do something bad? Is something wrong with me? It's the mind, feeling that. And it's so interesting how Mohanji brings up all these types of feelings inside of us to help us to release it. And I think the weekly talks have been really amazing in doing that. I'll just quickly share with you my experience of this past week that I joined. So during last week, something that was traumatic for me or something that was coming up, and it's something that I thought I may have dealt with a long time ago, like I may have released that pain, or I didn't think about it anymore, whatever was happening. And as Michael said earlier, there's so much still inside of us. The more we think we are cleaning the closet and cleaning, but there's still stuff inside, so we should always have that awareness of continuously cleaning ourselves. And this technique that Mohanji has given us is so precious in doing that. I mean, it's so simple, short, and easy to do the process, but yet it is so effective. I can sit sometimes during the day and just be in my own space and do this process, and I feel that cleansing. I feel Mohanji's presence. And so what was happening to me last week, I started feeling something come up, and it was really painful and traumatic for me. And I felt as if, I didn't know how to feel, because it was just something from deep inside that was very, very intense. So I just tried to keep, focusing, having awareness on what was happening, how I was feeling. And I even thought, if I need any kind of help with this, if I need to speak to somebody, then I should do that, but to release that pain which was coming up. So I was open with myself about how I was feeling. I didn't want to suppress anything that was happening. And then it was Saturday, I think I started feeling like the sadness, and it just like a horrible feeling, the feeling that you don't want to feel, but it was like coming up, and nothing I can explain or say something happened and I'm feeling this. I was just feeling this overwhelming pain. And then Sunday came, and it was Monday. Monday was the program this week. And we joined, and I was sitting there, and I just felt this peace inside of me. And I didn't ask Mohanji any questions or anything. I just felt like this, like this, his energy and being in his presence was having like some impact on me and what was going on. And then I realized, so as I'm sitting there and I'm just listening, I'm not even saying anything. And the people are asking the questions. And as they are asking, I'm getting these answers that I needed. And then he continued and did the process. And as he did the process, that experience or that trauma or some past life or whatever it was came out. Like I felt it lifted off me, and it just dissolved, And I felt like lighter. I felt myself again. I felt happy. And then I was thinking, you know what, Mohanji, when we are joining these sessions and interacting with him, being in the presence of the master is helping us to increase our frequency and helping us to remove things from inside of us. So I see it as this, Mohanji being sort of like he knows each one of us, as Michael had said before, Michael Mitra, Lakshmi Mitra, anybody, he is that friend. He is the one that we can share that innermost pain with, maybe not all the time, like through a phone call or through speaking to him, but within our heart, we can share how we feel without being embarrassed or afraid, but just sharing that. And I felt that like Mohanji was sort of like scanning, what is that holding you back from reaching your highest or reaching the next level of your life? And then I realized what he was doing during that whole week without me knowing was pushing out something that was deeply ingrained in me that I had forgotten about. And suddenly I start feeling this pain, and I don't know where it's from, and I'm feeling like the sadness. But he was pulling out something very deep rooted. And then when I saw him in this live session on Monday during the weekly talk, he sort of pulled it out and lifted it away from me through the process, because it was something that did not serve my higher purpose. So although pain can be a horrible thing, I'm feeling like that what is coming up, to just allow it to release itself, because he's guiding it out of us and putting us in the situation to release that, so that we can go higher and higher and elevate. So I just wanted to share that little is part of it based on your experience about how Mohanji transforms our lives and makes that difference for us. And it's just so incredible. And coming to Kalpana, I want to know from your experience and your opinion about how Mohanji helped you with clearing the inner space through the split your mind process, and also how you can relate that to your career as a yoga instructor, and what would you say to your clients who come to you for yoga classes, or people what advice would you give them regarding joining this Mohanji live sessions? How will it benefit their life, and how has it benefited you? I'd like to know that.
First of all, thank you for sharing, all of you, Michael, Bharati, lovely. And I'm also a teacher. I have shifted from teaching students more to training yoga teachers. So I share the same experience like Michael was talking and you were saying. So witnessing and awareness are two things which are very difficult for people to understand. In my years of training, that's where most of the people have a hard time. And I've heard Mohanji when he gives his talks, so people ask questions like, especially when he started the Empowered series in 2021. So back and forth the questions, but what is witnessing? What is awareness? The whole thing is about this path that we are on under the guidance of Mohanji. It's all about being aware, constant awareness. And what is awareness? I mean, you can see it through, different lenses. But when it comes to Mohanji, what he's saying is be present. Simply be present. Like Michael said, don't go back into the past as history, future is a mystery. Be in the present. But that is very difficult for people to do. And really, what is witnessing? It's just a practice of observing self, your feelings, your sensations, without thinking about the results. And, you have read the Gita, and that's what it's all about. Don't look at the rewards and don't look at the results. So when going back to this technique of split the mind, it just blew my mind. Because, my goodness, I mean, move your awareness to he doesn't say third eye, but witness this infinite path. Watch that infinite path. And what is that infinite path? Is you. The witness aspect in you, the soul aspect in you, who's just observing and is always centered. To me, even now I've got goosebumps. When he said that, it was like this, even though I've been teaching, but to actually, I don't think anyone has ever broken it down so simply. It's like baby food. And I was like, oh, my goodness. And then separating that energy, supreme consciousness, which is, the larger energy that he talks about, and then the spirit, which activates you on the right side. And then you empty yourself, the mind, body, organs, everything on the left side, right? And you be there in the center watching. I don't think you can break this down further. It was so profound, yet such a simple technique. I think it dissolved all confusions about what witnessing is. There's nothing more. There's nothing as far as as a disciple, a devotee, there's nothing more I can ask for. He's given it all. Now, where our level of awareness is and how much we take from it. And that practice, constantly being in that state. Like you said, what about what will you share with your students? And that's what I would share with them, that being in that state of awareness, the rest will follow. Being on that infinite path, observing it. The minute you say observing it, you become that witness consciousness. If you and I mean, if you understand what I'm saying, like that's what he's talking about. So I am now doing that the minute, because the mind is so powerful, it will take you away. So what I've taken from it is, and then he clarifies, Lakshmi, that understanding where you take your mind, you energize it. And the most powerful thing now, watch when everything is outside, and when from the left side, the energy doesn't go, what is on the left side is dead. Woof. Keep reiterating that. And for me, when you have emptied, he says, and you see the shell, for me, that was so symbolic, Lakshmi, because it took me to that inner space of silence that Mohanji says. Because in silence, your soul speaks to you. So this is what I would share with my participants who do come or attend my training. But for me, this was so big. I mean, some good deeds I must have done in my previous life, or even now, to be with Mohanji. And I think all of us are so blessed. So there is I would just share this, that keep going back to that infinite path, because there's so much clarity. It clears everything. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
That's truly amazing, especially that energizing. And I think a lot of us unconsciously energize things that we don't want in life. And that is how we attract a cycle of negative experiences. And he put it in such a simple way, as you've said, Kalpana, that even I have been feeling like this awareness of what am I energizing and what I shouldn't be energizing. And sometimes when there's certain thoughts or feelings that come up, and then you have this awareness, no, I don't need to energize that, or I don't need to worry about this in my life because it doesn't serve my higher purpose. And Mohanji has given us that clarity in such a simple way. I think for us, it's not so easy to understand. And for me as well, coming from that intellect mindset and being in the mind, to sort of breaking that, but still, doing my work and sort of being, like having more awareness about the mind itself. It's been an incredible journey. And, Mohanji's next weekly talk is coming up soon. And we like to invite everybody to join in, attend the sessions. Even if the viewers out there, even if you attend one session, come and experience it, and then you can see for yourself. We are just sharing our experiences, but everybody is unique and they have their own experience. So come join in the sessions, join even one session and see how you feel. And if it's something that's for you, if it's making a difference in your life, continue, join each session, because it's priceless to be in that experience with the master. So in 1 minute, I'm going to ask everybody to give your last sentence on what do you want to tell to the viewers out there on joining the Mohanji weekly talks. We can start with Michael and Bharati and Kalpana, and then we will conclude our chai with Lakshmi.
I've been on mute. For me, it's about connection. It's always maintaining that connection in whatever way you can, ultimately with yourself, the soul within, as represented by Mohanji or whatever master you actually connect to. And that connection, I think, is absolutely critical, because once the connection goes, the energy goes, you feel lost. And it's a way of actually maintaining that connection for me. I always take opportunities when they arise to be connected in whatever way that connection manifests itself, because I know that's where the energy comes from. That's where I get the joy. That's where I get the enthusiasm. Where I get to be with like-minded people. Because often in life, sometimes we're not with like-minded people, and let's face it, it's a bit hard. So when you get that opportunity, take those opportunities when they come. You don't know when the chance comes again. That's what I would say.
Like this opportunity of the four of us being here together today and really enjoying, like-minded people coming together, connected to Mohanji. That's truly incredible. Bharti?
Yeah, I would say energy is contagious. So this is the chance of your life to be with the master. And energy is like as if you're sitting with him in a room. So you're really sharing a room. And I would say this is the greatest opportunity you can have, because we are all resonating on a different level, a different frequency. And then the master comes in with that really unfathomable energy level. And then suddenly we feel our level rising. I was talking about asking questions and everything. But then you feel like, oh, your energy is rising to a level where there is no question and where you can just bathe in his energy. And then somebody else who feels like asking a question, it's just an excuse for all of us to be in that energy. I think it's not so much about the questions than about the resonance, being in the same frequency.
100%. And we were just joking with you earlier when we said you were asking all the questions.
I'm terrible. But I wouldn't recommend anybody to do like me. And also now Mohanji has even said, he gets 1,000 messages in a few hours, and you don't want to disturb him there. And I must say, I've never disturbed unless it was really, really an urgency or something. But I can imagine somebody who has so many messages from everybody that he has to say, okay, I have to, and that's where his love comes in. He wants to connect anyway, so then he's coming with these weekly talks.
Yes.
How beautiful is that? And everybody can connect in the same. It's not just a few people who can connect with him. No, he's open for everybody, and I would really recommend everybody to take that chance and raise your energy frequency. That's where it's all about. Yeah.
100%, I agree with you.
Can I tell one more thing
Yes,
about
yes.
this? What
Sure.
Kapana said really resonated with me. And I had this experience when I emptied out myself with the split of the mind, when I emptied out everything on the left side, something rose in me like as if it was a swan or something. Some energy went up and out, and like wings were coming out, and everything was burning and hot. So there was also a physical sensation, but it was more like that freedom, that emptiness. And suddenly I understood an earlier experience, what I have with complete stillness and emptiness. Then the question arose, then where is the Shakti? Where is the moving energy? And Mohanji explained that so well that was a confirmation for me, like something what I experienced. And then he brought it into words, because who can do that? We might have experiences here and there, like drops of heaven in our life, but somebody who is bringing you finger food, like Kalpana said, like everybody can understand. Suddenly it becomes clear. Suddenly even your mind grasps it. Something what is not graspable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's such a powerful point, because we actually feel through these weekly talks. And I noticed in the previous session on Monday that people had a lot of questions, and Mohanji so lovingly took that time to answer everybody's questions and give them that fulfillment and that peace of mind. And it was so beautiful to see that love that Mohanji has. And, although he was not physically well recently, he took that time to still do his job, to still give that love to all of us. And how priceless is that? How selfless is that, to have such a incredible master? I don't think I can describe him in words of what I feel in my heart, but it's such a beautiful opportunity that in this time we have Mohanji, taking us to higher levels of awareness. So Kalpana, what is your advice for the viewers out there and joining the session?
Yeah, again, thank you, Lakshmi, and thank you, Michael and Bharati. I had forgotten to add when I was talking is that if all of us who attended Mohanji's weekly talks, a couple of the talks always started with emotion. Mohanji talks about emotion. So that's where our problem lies for most of us. We constantly, because that's where the mind wants to take you. He's doing its job. The mind always does its job. We're caught in that web of emotions. So I would just say for people who are new, and for many of us, the times that we are going through right now, I think I would call it very troubled times for many. And if you're feeling stuck, and for whatever reason, anybody who's not able to understand why they're feeling stuck, this is the time right now to start your journey. Please come and join the weekly talks of Mohanji. Even if you don't meet him personally, but just listening, because one cannot fathom his energetic field. It's beyond anybody's understanding. So at least begin with, here is someone who can remove you from that place of being stuck to somewhat unstuck, and begin the journey. We have very little, we have no idea about what we hold on to when talking about patterns. So this is now the right time. This is, again, a priceless gift from a master of his caliber. And forget about trying to fathom out who Mohanji is beyond anybody's capacity, but to at least begin your own personal transformation. Bring that change. Everybody has a right to feel happy and content. So join the weekly talks. Thank you.
I love that what you said. We all have that right to be happy and to live our life in our highest potential. And the one thing Mohanji had said to me, that stability is our birthright. Being peaceful is our birthright. Being happy, So we shouldn't allow the experiences of the outside world to determine our inner world. And I feel that these weekly sessions, Mohanji is giving us so much in a way for us simple people to understand, how to get from clutter, chaos, confusion to, I felt like literally, it was like opening up my cupboards, and how do you feel when you clean a house? You feel good, right? You feel positive, you feel energized. So for each one of us joining the session, it's like a personal journey, that he's taking all of us, but each one of us individually, from what is our pains, what is our emotions, what is our trauma, and emptying all of that, what we do not need, so that we can be clean inside, we can be happy, we can live our highest potential, having that clarity. And I think after joining the sessions, I felt that shift, of feeling lighter, feeling happier, feeling like on top of the world. And when you are happy, you can achieve anything you want to in life, and you feel empowered. And Mohanji is that thread within us that gives us that empowerment and makes us to feel we can do this, we can strive, we can reach the stars, we can be our highest, we can live our dreams in this lifetime, and we can dream big because he is right there with us. So from Michael, we heard about Mohanji being a friend and somebody who we can share our feelings, our emotions, and releasing that, just speaking to Mohanji in consciousness and feeling that love and, that family. And Bharati mentioned earlier as well that Mohanji came to her in her thoughts in the car and said, if you calling me bhai or brother, then what does that mean? It's a relationship. So I think all of us are lucky and blessed to have that relationship with such an incredible master who takes the time to make each one of us feel that love inside of us. There can be hundreds and thousands of people there, and he has the capacity to give each and every one of us exactly what we need, and to take us from that confusion, emotions, all lower feelings, and take us right to the sky, and where we just feel so happy and energized. And we really, it's really, really incredible. And how blessed are we? And the more people that know about this and enjoying the sessions, imagine that transformation that can happen in their lives. So I would really like to recommend, from my own experience of being in the session and from listening to the transformational and inspiring experiences from Michael, Bharati, and Kalpana, I would recommend, if you have the ability and opportunity to attend these sessions, start by attending one session, which is coming up soon, and just feel it, just experience it. This is a rare opportunity. It's a gift for ourselves, this present moment that we have, and make the most of that. Mohanji is giving us a chance to empty ourselves and reach our highest. So I'd like to thank all of you for joining me on Chai with Lakshmi. And I think we enjoyed our chai. It was really nice. And we had incredible conversation. And after the session, I just feel energized by listening to all of you and the incredible things that you're sharing. And we are from different parts of the world, but we connected in our heart because of Mohanji. And let's just share and spread that love and get everybody to join the weekly sessions with Mohanji. So lots of love to all of you. Jai Mohanji.
Jai Mohanji. Thank you, Lakshmi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Bharati.